Hi everyone, my name is Serena. Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be doing a vlog. So it's not just going to be right now in this moment today. You already know what this is going to be about because of the title. This is not original. I'm not claiming it to be. None of my ideas are original. I think that the biggest booktuber who does these kind of videos is Carly. Celebrity Book Club, I think the vlogs are called. But anyway, after seeing all these videos, these different channels doing these type of videos, I started noticing that one celebrity in particular, I don't follow a lot of celebrities on Instagram, but one in particular, Dua Lipa, reads. And I never noticed it before because she does post about it and she also tweets about books, and then I searched online and she talks about books in interviews. So I started noticing that and I said, why not do a vlog about it? Because I really like Dua Lipa. My music tastes, I listen to 90% of the songs that are on the radio. Of course, there are songs that I cannot listen to because they are played so many times that I just can't listen to them anymore. I have to say that I really enjoy Dua Lipa. I listen to a lot of like older songs, 70s, 80s, even rock, I don't know, disco. I've been loving that type of music. Future Nostalgia, her latest album, reminds me so much of, I think, the 80s. I don't know, it makes me happy and I just really love that album. The first time that I noticed that she read was a couple months back when there was that trend in which people wrote on their Instagram stories, post a pic of, and people had to respond saying, for example, January 12, 2018, and you had to post a picture of that day. And one person asked her to post the book you've read non-stop. And she posted a picture of A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara. And we're starting off on the wrong foot here because if you've watched my June wrap-up and my mid-year book tag, you know that I did not like that book. She said, "My favorite book ever, breaks my heart over and over again." I can't imagine anyone like liking it, enjoying it, but I do understand why people would give it like 5 stars or something like that, because maybe they felt like so much and so devastated by the end. I didn't personally. I felt desensitized by the end. At the beginning I did feel things, but towards the end I didn't. I'm just here thinking, Dua, your songs are so happy kinda, and a lot of her songs are about like moving on, breakups, falling in love, at least most of them, of course. And this book is so devastating, you know? So yeah, that was interesting. But of course I'm not gonna read this one because I already read it. Just wanted to mention that was the first time I noticed that she read books. And after that I started like searching what her favorite books were or what she read, and I found this tweet last year in which she said, "This week I basically inhaled Sally Rooney's book Normal People and read it all in a day." So that's my first book that I'm going to read for this vlog. I've heard so many things about Normal People, a lot of mixed things too, and I want to see if I am going to like it or I'm going to hate it, because it seems like there aren't speech bubbles, and I'm going to listen to it on audiobook, so maybe that's not going to bother me at all. Of course it's not going to bother me because I don't see that. I feel like this is a very character driven story and not a lot happens, and that can be tricky, but if the characters are very developed and well done, I would like it, you know? So we'll see. I'm going to read that one first. The next book that I'm going to read is another one of her favorite books. I found this book on an interview and I'm going to insert a little clip right now.
What is your favorite book and why? My favorite book is The Unbearable Lightness of Being. It's a very complicated love story, and it's a brilliant book and everyone should read it.
The Unbearable Lightness of Being by Milan Kundera. I had never heard of this book before, but I guess it's like a classic. It seems to be very philosophical, and it's set in Prague, I believe. And she says it's about a complicated love story. And I can totally see her loving those type of stories. Same with Normal People. Normal People seems like a complicated love stories. And that Normal People and The Unbearable Lightness of Being seem more like her thing. I don't know. A Little Life, there is a complicated love story. But it's just so devastating. I don't know. The third and final book that I'm going to read for this vlog, she apparently likes so many other books, but I'm just going to read 3 of them because I don't need to read more. I'm so bad at vlogging. Let's just not. Let me just mention other books that she apparently really enjoyed. The Underground Railroad, How to Be Anti-Racist, The Picture of Dorian Gray, The Color Purple. But the third book that I'm going to read is Queenie by Candace Carty Williams. And she mentioned this book in an interview, in an article from Stylist UK. And the article says, Lipa's reading list is a little less dystopian but equally contemporary. Queenie by Candace Carty Williams is brilliant. She sent it to me when it was on final draft because it mentioned New Rules, one of her songs. She reveals, I was so thrilled and I thought it was a brilliant coming of age book. It's so honest and so raw. I've also been reading a poetry book with poems, etc, etc. I am going to read Queenie. I have this book physically, it's downstairs. I've also heard mixed things about this one. So she apparently reads a lot of books that have mixed opinions, and let's see if I like the books that she likes. One of them I didn't. Normal People first place, Queenie, and then The Unbearable Lightness of Being. That's my ranking, but we'll see at the end of this video what my actual ranking is going to be. Hi everyone, so I started Normal People. I'm already halfway through. I want to give an update because I want to update you on each book like halfway through so I don't pile all my thoughts at the very end. Let me just tell you the plot of this book, which isn't much. I have a feeling that this book is more about character development and character growth, relationships than anything else. Honestly, it's about these 2 teenagers. They start off in high school and we have Marianne and Connell. Connell is popular and Marianne isn't popular. They also are on 2 different levels for what concerns class. I already see a big theme for what concerns money and class, and Marianne has a rich family while Connell lives with his single mom. His mother works for Marianne's family. So Marianne is a very weird girl, or at least she's considered very like weird. Connell and Marianne decide to have this secret relationship, so they see each other in secret and all that. Connell doesn't want this to go out because he is very concerned about people finding out, and him, I guess, getting bullied as well, getting judged or whatever. So we have that teenage boy theme over there. I'm sure Connell is going to realize how stupid he was in high school, and Marianne is going, to find herself or whatever, find her people, or I don't know. It really seems like a realistic story, like how would teenagers react, especially millennials, because I feel like this was set during 2011, 2014, so I think that's the period when millennials were teenagers. So it feels really it feels like there's like this certain group of people that would really relate to this story, especially Irish. I feel like this book is very Irish, if you know what I mean, and I feel like a lot of Irish people would get things that someone who is not from Ireland wouldn't. I like Lorraine Connell's mom. These characters are so flawed. They have issues, problems that I'm sure we're going to go more into. I also started the TV show because I want to read and watch at the same time and see how similar the show and the book are. And so far, I watched the first episode and the dialogue is pretty accurate and pretty similar. It's only like half an hour an episode, like 25 minutes. So I'm going to do that. The actors look good, and Marianne, the actress, looks like Anne Hathaway. I can't get over it. Hi everyone, so I finished Normal People. I also finished the show, and I have to say that I really enjoyed it. It's not a favorite, but it's almost a 5-star. I think I gave it 5 stars on Goodreads, but I wrote down 4.5. This is a book that I'm definitely going to reread eventually, but I really enjoyed it because it just felt very realistic, and I just feel like I get what Sally Rooney was trying to do. The last scene of the last episode, I teared up. I didn't tear up while reading, but as per usual, watching things visually makes me more emotional. And the last scene, I teared up because the things that they were saying, it's not like nicely wrapped, and I usually do not like open endings, you know, I don't usually like them, but this one for some reason feels right because it feels like real life, it feels realistic, it feels like these people will just continue on living and having their flaws, like everyone. We all have problems, and even if we solve problems, we'll get new ones. That's just life. And the title is perfect. Normal people. Normal people have miscommunications and problems communicating their emotions. Of course, it's frustrating to read about, but I feel like Sally Rooney did a good job for what concerns these tropes, miscommunications. Also, the fact of having a main character who is popular and another one who is not popular, weird. Yeah, that's a trope, you know? But I think that Sally Rooney did a good job. Even though it takes place during a long period of time, like 4 years, it just felt like a slice of life story. I was looking on Goodreads while I was reading this book, and I read trigger warnings. I don't know, sometimes I feel like trigger warnings are spoilery, but they're very important. Go check them out if you need to. There was one in particular that made me scared for the ending of this book, and I just knew that if it was going to end this way, I wouldn't have enjoyed it as much as I did. But thank goodness that didn't happen. Also, I think that there is good therapy rep. One of the main characters goes to therapy, and I just feel like that was such a good scene. A lot of good quotes, I have to say. They're lonely, but they always had each other in some way. They're always in each other's lives, even though they go through ups and downs. They're always in each other's lives, and they feel just they just have this special connection, the both of them. Last thing that I want to say is the show was really good. The actors were really good. There's a lot of sex and nudity, if that bothers you, but it felt realistic, you know. It wasn't like exaggerated like in some other movies. So yeah, what I'm doing now is reading The Unbearable Lightness of Being by Milan Kundera, and I don't have any opinions right now. It mainly concentrates on these two characters, Thomas and Teresa. There's also a movie, so I want to watch that too. And the opening of this book is actually really good. It made me think, let me just go get it. I'm not gonna read the entire thing, but basically the author is talking about the eternal return, the idea of the eternal return. And I think this idea comes from the philosopher Nietzsche. And he makes examples. For example, if the French Revolution were to recur eternally, French historians would be less proud of Robespierre, but because they deal with something that will not return, the bloody years of the revolution have turned into mere words, theories and discussions have become lighter than feathers, frightening no one. That's true, honestly. So basically, because we know that historical events will not return, or at least they will not return as they were. Like, I firmly believe that history can repeat itself, but because those historical events will not happen again as they were, they are just discussions and theories, and we're not really scared of them. And that's scary in itself, you know, because those were, I'm sorry, there's the ice cream truck, but those historical events, if you really think about it, they're scary, and we're not frightened of them because they're merely words on the page. So I thought that this was a very interesting introduction. Anyway, I will talk about my thoughts when I finish it, because this is a more complicated story. It's very philosophical. So yeah, I'll talk to you later. I'm back again in my bed, in my room. I went to the city today just to get out of the house, and I went to Barnes & Noble in Union Square, the Strand. I didn't buy anything, just wanted to browse and walk around. I noticed that there are a lot of Dua Lipa songs on the radio right now. I think she has like 5 songs on the radio right now. Levitating, number 1, it's everywhere. Then we have We're Good, Break My Heart, even Don't Stop Now, and now her new single from the album Love Again, that's on the radio now too. Also Demeanor with Pop Smoke. Yeah, she's one of the most played singers on the radio right now, with Olivia Rodrigo and Harry Styles maybe. I didn't read today. Yesterday, before I fell asleep, I watched 1 hour of the movie The Unbearable Lightness of Being, and that movie is 3 hours. So I fell asleep after 1 hour. I have to continue on. I didn't explain to you what this is about, but as I said, it's about these 2 people, Thomas and Teresa. There's also this other girl, Sabine. Yeah. And Thomas is a doctor. He sleeps with a lot of women, but then he falls for this girl, Teresa. And it's also set in 1968 Prague, when there was socialism. So we see that. I also want to comment on the fact that Thomas makes a comparison between Oedipus, the Greek legend, the Greek mythology story, and the socialist leaders. So he makes this comparison between the two because Oedipus, in the story, he grows up, sleeps with his mom unknowingly, and kills his dad unknowingly. But then he finds out and he feels guilty. And I believe he stabs his eyes or something like that. But the point is, he feels guilty. Even though he didn't know, he still feels like he needs to punish himself, you know? And Thomas makes this comparison with the socialist leaders, or at least the leaders of Prague. Basically, when they found out what Stalin was doing, they were playing innocent victims like they didn't know, and so they weren't to blame. So they stayed in power. And he makes this comparison because he talks about like a change of morality. So that was quite interesting as well. Also, Dua posted the other day a picture of her sister. I think this is her sister. Yeah, Dua Lipa, with The Vanishing Half in her hands. So I guess her sister is reading The Vanishing Half, and I am reading The Vanishing Half as well. She also posted a story today that says, "Join our book club." And what are they reading? Who are these people? Wait, is that Dua? Oh, it's a Stephen King book. Yep, I see Stephen King. Yeah, it's definitely Misery. I think this is the cover. This is the book that she's reading. Yeah, I want to read Misery. Not for this vlog, but it's definitely on my TBR. Good morning, everyone. I wanted to give you my final updates on The Unbearable Lightness of Being, and then I have to read Queenie. I talked about Oedipus. I talked about the ideal of the eternal return, which the author seems to reject. The last thing that I want to talk about for what concerns these philosophical things is the contrast between light and heavy, lightness and heaviness, which is a big theme in this book, and I'm only now talking about it. So basically, Thomas and Sabine are the representation of lightness. They live in the moment without judgment. Sabine has a bit of commitment issues, and Thomas really seems to think that sex and love are two different things. And then we have Teresa and Franz, who represent heaviness, who are more traditional. They attach important meanings to things, to life. Teresa can't seem to fully trust Thomas because of his ways, and she also has a complicated relationship with her mom. There was also this discussion about happiness. Because happiness lives more on a circular timeline, it repeats itself, and we live on more of a linear timeline. How do we achieve this happiness? Do we achieve it living heavily or lightly? I don't know. In my opinion, we should be living lightly and heavily. There should be a balance. Like in everything, there should be like a healthy balance. So there really isn't a real answer to this question, but it's an interesting discussion. So yeah, overall, this is a really philosophical book. It's philosophical fiction, and I think the characters are mostly there to communicate the author's philosophy. I'm gonna give it 3 stars. And the covers, there are different covers. There's a cover with a dog, and the dog is an important character, kinda, Karenin. And then another cover has the hat. So these are important, significant objects in the book. Lastly, I want to talk a little bit about the movie. The movie was 3 hours long. I ended up finishing it all, and at first I thought Thomas was really creepy. The actors are Daniel Day-Lewis and Juliette Binoche, and yeah, it was a mixture of fiction and documentary. It's set in the late 60s in Czechoslovakia, when it was still Czechoslovakia. And it's just a complicated romance, and I understand why Dua Lipa really loves this story, because I do see her loving romance, but complicated romance, you know, it's as she said in her video, it's a really complicated love story, and I can totally see her enjoying that. And as I said, all of her songs have to do with love, kind of, most of them at least, so I understand why it's her favorite book. So now I'm going to read Queenie. Hopefully this has more plot, and I'll talk to you later. Hi everyone, so I finished Queenie and I am here to talk about my thoughts and finish this vlog so I can upload this on my channel. I haven't uploaded in a few weeks, so yeah, but I finished Queenie. Queenie was good. I think I'm gonna give it 3 stars as well. I guess Dua Lipa really loves character driven stories, and I do too, but the plot wasn't very complicated. It's about this 26-year-old woman, British Jamaican woman in London, a part of London, and she works at a newspaper or a magazine, and she goes through a very difficult breakup which basically causes her life to spiral, and she's dealing with anxiety. She has a lot of nightmares, and she makes a lot of bad decisions. The story actually opens up with a scene in the gynecologist. So it talks a lot about sexual relationships and relationships in general, with family, with friends. Yeah, there are a lot of women in this story, and I feel like that's a big theme in Dua's songs as well. Like Dua always sings about women, supporting women. In this story there were a lot of women. All the men were horrible, I have to say, but I liked the secondary characters, especially Cheska. She was funny. Cassandra was horrible. Darcy, I don't know. Then there was the grandma, the mom. Queenie is very unlikable, but okay, it didn't like absolutely bother me, but I know that a lot of people don't like unlikable main characters, and she just goes through trauma, and there's also therapy rep in this story too. So I read 2 books with therapy representation in it. As you saw in that mini clip that I filmed at work, you see that Dua Lipa was mentioned in the book. So basically, I think in this scene, Queenie was kind of making some rules, you know, for what concerns dating men. And she was talking with her friend. "Hi Dua Lipa, nice to hear from you. Why do you need caveats? Why can't you just stay away from men altogether?" And then Queenie answers, "Dua Lipa's song is called New Rules, not New Promises. Darcy, come on." And it was cool to see Dua's name in this book, and I'm doing a vlog about her. Overall, I read it on audiobook as well, and I enjoyed the narration, the accents, because her family is Jamaican. There's a lot of like discussions about racism and Black Lives Matter, also black hair. There were a lot of scenes in which white people were touching her hair, and obviously she didn't want that. Yet again, another complicated love story, complicated characters, and a lot of women characters, which I think are themes very present in Dua's song. So I get why she enjoyed this book. I liked it. It's not going to be stuck in my mind or a favorite, obviously, but I didn't hate it. There were a lot of like text speech bubbles and emails, so the pace is really fast, you know. It's funny, it's quick, so that's a good thing. I keep switching hands because my arms hurt. But those are my overall thoughts about Queenie. Let me know if you read any of these books down below. Did I enjoy Dua Lipa's favorite books? I did really like Normal People, but the other 2 were just 3 stars for me, and that's okay. At least I found a good book out of the 3 that I like a really good book that I really enjoyed out of the 3 that I chose. I'll talk to you in my next video. Bye.